Yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Simple Logic Podcast, where I, your host, WattsTV, talks about topics logically, but also in a comedic fashion. How's everybody doing, man? I hope everybody is doing well. We have a lot to talk about today. First off, let's start off with this. All right. So I'm chilling one day. I'm just scrolling through Twitter like always, and when I tell you guys the most random things randomly just so happen to trend on Twitter, it is incredibly random. Super random. So I'm on Twitter, I'm like, let me see what's going on. And I look and I saw Lola Bunny is trending. I said, why is Lola Bunny trending right now? Instantly sucked my teeth. Oh, what did they do now? So look to see why she's trending. And to make a long story short, if you guys aren't familiar with who Lola Bunny is, Lola Bunny I think she was first introduced in Space Jam. I want to say that she was. So she's a Looney Tune. She was introduced in Space Jam, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But she was in the Space Jam movie. Now, I feel weird talking about this or saying it like this, but Lola was a sexy little bunny. All right, she's a sexy little bunny who could play basketball. But she's a cartoon character, obviously. So because Lola was more on the quote sexy side of the spectrum, the new animators of the new Space Jam that is coming out relatively soon with LeBron James, I don't know, just a sidebar. I don't know why they're making this movie. All right, stop. Never mind. I'm gonna get into it later. I'm gonna get into it later. Anyway. So the new animators decided to remake Lola Bunny, and I am going to show you what she looks like right now because this is a tad bit ridiculous. Okay, so this is her new design. Now, as you can see, this was her on the left. My bad. This was her on the left in the first Space Jam. It came out 90. Space Jam come out in 94? I don't know. Came out in the 90s. I do remember that. Still one of my favorite movies to this day. Love Space Jam. All right. So even though Michael Jordan is a terrible actor. But look, okay. This is Lola Bunny. Her design is not too crazy. Yes, she has short shorts, but she's obviously like womanly. She's obviously a woman. I guess they thought this was too risque or whatever. So this is her redesign for the new movie with LeBron James. Now, as you guys can see, this is a drastic difference. And so I went to see why this was. So I actually found the creator's response to this. So I'm reading this verbatim. This is quote, "This is 2021. It's important to reflect the authenticity of strong, capable female characters." So we reworked a lot of things. Not only her look, like making sure she had an appropriate length on her shorts and was feminine without being objectified, but gave her a real voice. For us, it was let's ground her athletic prowess, her leadership skills, and make her as full a character as the others. Okay. I disagree with some of this. All right, so the first part, this is 2021. Soon as I read that, I cringed because when somebody says this is 2021, to me, I'm sorry, don't get on me, guys. To me, that means we're going to make some changes that doesn't necessarily need to happen. This is 2021. It is important to reflect the authenticity of strong, capable female characters. Okay, I get that. I completely understand. But she's a fucking bunny. She's a bunny. She's not real. Let me keep going. So we reworked a lot of things. Not only her look, like making sure she had an appropriate length on her shorts, and was feminine without being objectified. Okay. Do you guys think this was Lola Bunny being objectified? And also, what are we talking about here? Since when can we objectify cartoon characters? this is going to sound horrible, but even first of all, you cannot stop anybody from objectifying women, cartoon characters, or anything. People are going to objectify people all the time, whether you put them in fucking nun clothes. All right, people are going to objectify all the time. Am I saying it's good? Of course not. Please do, for the love of God, do not objectify women. All right, please don't. But this is different. This is a fucking cartoon character. It's not that deep. And the design, like on the left side, I mean, yes, I wouldn't say it's not necessarily like too revealing or anything, but she's obviously like womanly, and she could play. I thought that was dope because the character was still like very womanly, but she could ball. I thought as a kid, I thought that that was dope. Like she was obviously a girly girl, but she was one of the best players on the team. Now, the way that I could look at it, I could look at this new Lola Bunny and say, "Oh, well, you're making her look closer to, to a male character than you are a female character. By putting more clothing on her like this, you are getting rid of that womanly charm." But as I say that, I realize this again. We're fucking talking about a cartoon character. This is stupid. And who cares? I'm sorry. Like I said, don't objectify anybody, all right? But who cares about objectifying a cartoon bunny? I don't even believe she was objectified. That was literally them saying that she was objectified in the first movie, and I don't necessarily think so. All right? And you cannot help people's reactions. Like you just can't. Some sicko can find some weird I don't know, some weird way to object this new Lola Bunny. Like you cannot help that. All right, I thought the left design was dope. I thought it was dope. There was really no need to get rid of it, but I mean, whatever. I don't know. Also, I hope they never bring Who Framed Roger Rabbit back, because people are gonna be pissed if they put her in a fucking Adidas tracksuit or something. Because out of any cartoon character, Jessica Rabbit is the most sexualized ever, I would say. Leaving anime aside, leaving hentai out of this, Jessica Rabbit is the most sexualized, objectified cartoon character that there is. Do not remake Who Framed Roger Rabbit. For the love of God, please do not remake that, because people are going to be pissed. On to the next topic. Speaking of remaking movies, guys, so I watched Coming to America 2 this weekend. It wasn't good. And you know what? I knew this was going to happen. I knew that as soon as I heard that they were making a Coming to America 2, I knew it wasn't going to be good. And keep in mind, guys, this is just my opinion. I mean, you guys can think however you want. I have not seen one person say, "Oh yeah, I liked it better than the original." Of course. I'm also going to put this out there. It is hard to follow up on a masterpiece. Coming to America is damn near a comedic masterpiece. All right, and it's hard for the sequel to be better than the original. Anyway, I only know a few movies who have successfully pulled that off, and oddly enough, one of them is an animated movie, Toy Story. Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 3 were the best out of the franchise. 2 and 4 were weak. I will put 2 at the end of the spectrum. Toy Story 3 was dope. It had so many dope scenes, so many memorable lines too, and it was very emotional, and it came incredibly close, if not a tiny bit better than the first one. That scene when they were all holding hands and they thought that they were, spoiler alert, and they thought that they were gonna die. Come on. Not many movies can top the first, not many sequels can top the first movie. Like, it's just super hard. Another movie that comes to mind is Home Alone. I would say Home Alone 1 and 2 is like 1A and 1B, because to me, they're both equally as good. I love the Home Alone movies. I guess you could argue Fast and Furious. You could argue that, but there's so many movies at that point as I'm going too down into the rabbit hole. But yeah. So before I go on with this, with my thoughts on Coming to America, I'm going to tell you there are going to be some spoilers. So if you guys don't want to get spoiled and you want to watch the movie yourself, I completely understand that. It's fine. Do me a favor and just skip ahead or whatever, or skip off the podcast or the video, whatever. All right. Where should we start? Because there are a lot of issues that I have with this movie. Okay, so when sequels are made of iconic movies like this, sometimes a lot of things can come off as regurgitated. So I barely at Coming to America 2. It was genuinely not funny to me. And a lot of the jokes were just super regurgitated. And a lot of the stuff that you wanted to be funny was not funny. I was expecting when they went back to the barbershop, I just knew that was going to be the funniest scene. I just knew it. Because those characters, that was my favorite part in the movie. Come on, it was their banter and their conversations and their rhetoric was just so utterly ridiculous, and it was hysterical. Come on, and the first one where he said, "I met Dr. King. You did not meet Dr. King. You did not meet Dr. Martin Luther King. You did not meet him." He said, "I did." He said, "Martin Luther King walked up to me, punched me in my chest, and I said, 'Dr. King.'" And he said, "Oh shit, I thought you was somebody else." Like, what? Bro, hysterical, completely random. And those characters, they were not even funny. They were kind of saying the same things that they were saying in the previous movie, talking about hey, it's Kuta Kente. Like, come, all right, we get it. Like, it wasn't that funny, and it really upset me because I wanted it to be funny so bad. And I don't know, like a couple of shots in the movie were a little off to me, but I'm not a like cinematographer or like really a videographer for that point, so I'm not going to dive too deep into that. But let's talk let's talk about the main character. So his son. His reasoning for having an illegitimate son was not funny at all. And it honestly did not make any sense. So, to make a long story short, if you haven't seen the movie and you just want to hear about it, and this is me spoiling it. So, Akeem had an illegitimate son because he met this chick at the bar, Leslie Jones. Simi, I'm pretty sure he smashed her friend, and Leslie Jones smashed Eddie Murphy, but I'm sorry, not Eddie Murphy, Akeem. So Leslie Jones smashed Akeem, and he didn't know it because she got him incredibly high. Let me tell you something. I'm not saying that I've smoked before because I'm not going to self-incriminate myself. All I'm going to say is I've been intoxicated before, and no way in hell is anyone going to get that messed up to the point where you do not realize that you are smashing somebody that you don't want to smash. So anyway, they smashed when they were both high. He didn't use protection. Bam, years later, he has a son. So he went back to America to look for his son because he only had daughters because he didn't have a proper heir. Apparently in Zamunda, you need a son to, pass on the legacy to pass on the legacy, and you need a proper heir to the throne. So, yeah, that whole reasoning was just, and the main character, like his son, I forgot the comedian's name, the actor's name, but he also wasn't funny. There were no quotables. It's just, everything was just dry. It didn't seem like comedy to me. It just seems like, I don't know. Like, I don't see how this was just, it seemed like a slice of life movie more so than a comedy. I don't even know how to explain it, but the main character, to me, in my opinion, was incredibly dry. Akeem, Akeem was not in the first movie. I wouldn't say Akeem was funny necessarily, but it's hard to say. Was Akeem funny? I feel like the stuff that was happening to him and around him was funny. And again, they were quotables. Fuck you. Yes. Yes. Fuck you too. Like that was funny. But it didn't seem like he was trying to be overly funny. Like you see what I'm saying? Like it just seemed like that was the character. This character, this new Akeem who is now king, is dry. That's something I also didn't mention. The dad died. King Jaffa Joffa is dead, so Akeem is the new king. Yeah. Another thing that I did not like about this movie was that it was, I don't know if it's because I watched a lot of movies in my time, but it was super predictable. I literally said everything that was going to happen before it happened. And apparently a lot of ideas forming Coming to America too. Like apparently Eddie attended a lot of meetings and a lot of them got shot down. But apparently this was the one. Like this was the main idea to make him go, you know what? We could make a second one. I really like this idea. But I don't understand why. But the movie was incredibly predictable. I knew everything that was going to happen before it did, and it really made my nuts itch. Like I was just here with mine, just scratching my nuts, just because everything was just making me itch. Like I felt psychic at this point, or I just said, you know what, I must really watch a lot of movies. But anyway, so for example, okay, so Akeem's daughter, his firstborn, you can tell that she really wanted to be king. Like you knew that she wanted, queen at this point. You really knew that she wanted to be the queen, and she wanted her dad to change things in Zamunda so that she could become queen. And she's trained all her life for it. Like she knows her studies, she knows the past, and you could tell. And in my mind already, I said, okay, she obviously wants to be the queen. And as soon as they are going to bring in his illegitimate son, she is going to hate him at first. She is going to hate him. And lo and behold, she did. She did not like him. She did not want to help him at first. And of course, eventually they had some bonding moment to make them come together and for them to share that brotherly sister, bullshit moment, whatever, fine. But I expected that. I also expected... Oh, right. I forgot to mention this. Sorry, guys. I am not a movie critic. I mean, everybody's a critic, but I'm not a professional critic. I don't really talk about things in order. I'm just telling you about my experiences, so I apologize if this is a mess and I'm constantly getting my thoughts together. And I did not make an outline because I just wanted this to be extremely genuine, and I wanted to do this off the cuff. Anyway, so another thing that I knew was going to happen. So... like as soon as he got into the palace, the main reason that Akeem brought him back to Zamunda was for him to marry Wesley Snipes' daughter. All right, for political reasons. That was the whole premise of the story. That was the main reason for him to come to Zamunda, was so that his son could marry the general's daughter, Wesley Snipes' daughter. Or all right, cool. He's okay with it. It's Teyana Taylor, which I don't understand why she was really a part of it, but whatever. But in the middle of this, he seemed real cool with it. Oh, also, time out. They had some weird corny ass number where he was rapping and she was singing, and it was incredibly corny. Like, super cringe. Incredible cringe. I don't know why they added that in there. They could have done without. There was not a lot of music like that in the first Coming to America, besides Akeem singing that To Be Loved song. I don't know why that was in there, but it made me cringe. But anyway, this one thing that I saw coming. So even though that the son knew that he was going to be married off to this general's daughter, he started to form a bond with somebody else. Also very predictable. And where did this come from? I don't know. Oh, you mean like how Akeem was supposed to be married off to somebody else, and that's the reason why he went to America in the first place, was to find a wife, because he didn't want to do things how his father wanted him to. Oh my gosh. It's happening. It's happening again. This is literally the same plot. Why are we here right now? Why are we here? So as soon as I saw that, I said, why was this the direction that they wanted to go to? I don't understand. So yes, the son has a professional barber, and this barber is a woman, and he starts, he starts talking to the barber more. They become fond of each other. They realize that they like each other. And eventually, at the end of the story, they marry each other. And also, she told him what Hakeem did to get his wife. So he's confused at this point, and he's like, okay, well, what the fuck? Like, you should understand. You're doing what your dad tried to do to you. You're trying to do that to me. So a lot of the movie was just incredibly predictable, not funny at all, super dry. I just wish they could have done a lot of things differently, or not have done them at all. And I thought this was a good segue from Lola Bunny, because I also don't think that they should be doing the Space Jam sequel. I don't understand why is there a need to make a sequel from a legendary movie. There were a lot of aspects about the first Coming to America that everybody loves. Coming to America is, like, especially within the black community, it is held as one of the greats. Like, it's in people's top 5 at least. It's in mine. Coming to a lot of Eddie Murphy movies are in like my favorite comedy movie top 5. A lot of them. From, oh my gosh, so Coming to America, Boomerang, the Beverly Hills Cops movies, hysterical. I just don't understand why they had to make a sequel for just a shameless cash grab. I don't get it. Because, I mean, yes, we all love Coming to America, and when we heard that there was a second one, I'm sure there was a lot of hype behind it, and people were excited, but I was not, because I knew it was shit. And unfortunately, yes, it was shit. It was so bad. I couldn't even watch it again. Like, I try to watch it again specifically for this podcast episode, but I could not. It was just not good. And I really want to know what everybody else's thoughts are, because there is a lot of the movie that I just didn't like. And also, there were characters who didn't necessarily need to be there. Like, his other 2 daughters, they legit did not need to be there. They had no reason to be there, actually. If those 2 were not a part of the movie would not have changed at all. Because Akeem's issue was that he had 3 children. And the 3 children were all women. They were all girls. But if he just had 1 kid, and, that was the only kid, and she was a woman, then we would still be stuck with the same dilemma now. He still would have had to go find his, illegitimate son. So what was the point? Some characters just did not need to be in there. And even Arsenio Hall, I don't know, maybe just people aren't funny anymore. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, even Arsenio Hall as the preacher, he wasn't even funny. Like, I don't understand. You know what was the only thing that I genuinely laughed at, because I expected it to see him? Fucking Randy Watson at the end of the movie. When the main character's new wife was like, "Oh, who did you get to perform? Was it Kendrick Lamar? Was it this person?" He's like, "Nah, well, who?" And he's like, "Coming to the stage, Mr. Randy Watson." I about died. I thought that was the funniest part to me, just because I thought, first of all, the band's name is Sexual Chocolate. Sexual Chocolate. Come on, man. That was the best part. Is just seeing Randy Watson. Also, I feel like that is another issue with making remakes, if the best part of the movie is seeing old characters and seeing and hearing the same jokes, if those are the best parts of the movie, then you have an issue, because your goal when you make a remake or you make a sequel to something, your goal is to have something fresh, something that is still funny, but something that is like new and incredibly fresh. That was not the issue here. I mean, that was not the I said issue. That was not the thing here. They were so focused on the past, and they try to transfer it. They try to transfer it. I cannot speak today, to the like to today, to the present, and the jokes didn't work because we heard them already, and the setups is just, it just wasn't funny, and I don't want to watch it again. It was bad. Like I want to watch the first one now just to cleanse my palate, you know. Also, I knew the movie was bad when I went on Twitter. So, funny enough, I knew the movie was bad because when I went on Twitter, there were a lot of people happy about the black representation. I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, of course, it's always dope when, black people, we have work and we're in movies, and there's more of us that more people that represent us. I get it. Okay, black representation, black representation, black representation. Nobody's really saying if the movie was funny or not. Very interesting. That's how I do. That is how I knew. But you know what? Those were, so when you go on Twitter, and you look up a topic, there is the latest tweets, and then there are the top tweets. The top tweets have like the most likes, the most retweets, etc., etc., etc. So those were the top tweets that I was reading at first. So I was like, okay, these top tweets are just talking about black excellence, blah blah blah. Great, love it all, but no one's really talking about how good the movie is, or if the movie is good in general at all. So when I looked at the recent tweets, man, people were frying this shit. Oh my gosh. People Somebody said this is literally the worst piece of shit that I've ever seen before in my life, and I watched Homeboys in Outer Space. That is a tough pill to swallow. Because you don't want one of your favorite movies to have a sequel and for the sequel to be utterly garbage. Nobody wants that. I didn't want it. I wanted the movie to be so funny, to be I just wanted to be good. But it wasn't. I just think that we need to leave sequels alone, because there are a lot of memorable moments from the first one. And Eddie Murphy said it himself. He never wanted to do a sequel in the first place because they didn't want to touch it, because it was perfect. It was perfect. It was funny. The story was entertaining. The characters were lively and colorful as hell. The plot was dope. Like, people love the first one, so why would you even risk doing a second one? I do not understand. I just think at this point, I think that it was a shameless cash grab. No matter what Arsenio Hall, no matter what Eddie Murphy says, it was dead ass a shameless cash grab, because they knew that people were going to gravitate to it, and they knew that people were going to watch it. So I'm just curious right now. Let's look what the critics are saying, or what people are rating it, because I am extremely curious. It can't be good. It can't be good. Rotten Tomatoes only gave it wait, my bad. That is the first one. Coming to America. I just don't understand why people felt like they needed to remake this movie. Oh, yeah, people are giving this movie 2.5 stars, 3 stars. I'm seeing a lot of 3 stars. Yeah. Somebody said do not. Okay, I want to hear somebody's opinion who genuinely likes the movie. So I'm curious. We're about to read this comment real quick. Let's see. Do not listen to the purist haters and enjoy watching for the hilarious story. Eddie Murphy is a comedic genius, and characters in all his movies have a unique presence. That's a damn lie, because that movie where he couldn't talk because of that damn tree, that was not funny. I did not like that movie. There was a lesson behind it, but that movie was trash. Blah blah blah. I love the original Coming to America since I was a kid and rewatched it just before the new sequel came out. It's hard not to compare the two. The new one felt like its predecessor in the great comedic delivery, but occasionally tried too hard. You cannot say it tried too hard, but it had great comedic delivery. I don't understand. Okay, so yeah, I can't listen to that guy. I can't listen to that guy. He just loved the first one so much that he really wanted to like the second one, and that's what happened. So guys, don't listen to me. This is just my opinion. Don't take my opinion as a permanent stamp. Watch the movie for yourself. I loathe people. I absolutely loathe people who look at critics and who look at ratings first before they actually watch the movie for themselves, because they can't form their own opinion. I hate it so much. And I cannot stand it, just because. Don't listen to the critics. I look at the critics and I look at the reviews after the movie is out, just so that I can still form an opinion of my own. But if I see a critic, right, this could have been better and this could have been done differently, I'll just be like, you know what? I actually agree with that, because when I was watching myself, I saw that this, that, and the third happened, and I didn't necessarily like it, and they could have done this differently. Don't take my opinion as a permanent stamp that this movie is completely trash. In my opinion, it is trash. Yes, but form your own opinion. All right? And guys, let me know if you are watching this, if you are on YouTube. I cannot talk today. If you are on YouTube, then please let me know in the comments down below. Did you think the movie was fire, or did you think the movie was trash? Please let me know. I really want to hear your thoughts about this, because everybody that I know that loved the first one, they hated this one, and I did too, and I do not blame them. I was so upset. I was just extremely disappointed that it wasn't good, but whatever. What am I gonna do? But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Music, I appreciate you. But yeah, I'm out. I hope everybody has a dope week, and yeah. Form your own opinion, guys. Let me know what you think. All right, everybody. Peace.